So calling it to order, and we'll have a roll call.
Madam Chair,
Present?
Vice Chair Finity,
Present.
the Secretary is here. Board Member Catalinato,
Present.
Board Member Mutu,
Present.
Board Member Neely,
Present.
Board Member Fulham is absent. We have a quorum, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Just a brief note of safety regs. If there is an emergency, both doors are open. Go down the stairs and out the front door of the building. And we'll go in order with the agenda, and please just give your, I don't think we had sign-in sheets, but just give your name. Do we have sign-in sheets?
We don't this time, but we will.
Okay, so just, is there something that they can write on? Just give us your name and your affiliation when you speak, and then we'll have a record of it. So we'll start with High Dunes condominiums, and do we have sufficient
We
notice?
do, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you. We have to read it into the record, so hang on for a sec. Great.
Please take notice that in accordance with local law number 417 of 2022, a public hearing will be held by the Southampton Town Planning Board on Thursday, February 23rd, 2023 at 6 p.m. at Town Hall, 116 Hampton Road, Southampton, and video conferencing to consider the pre-submission application entitled High Dune Condominiums. The application proposes to repair and replace the existing decking on all units with an additional 1,290 square foot added to each, as well as renovations to the building exterior, new siding. On approximately 6-acre property, currently improved with 40 condominiums situated in the R40 zoning district, located at 575 Dune Road, West Hampton, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-392-2-21.
Thank you. Okay, please.
Steve Caputo, 120 Mill Road, West Hampton Beach, for the applicant. Also in attendance is Brian Miles. He is the president of High Dunes Condo. This is an application. There are two parts to it. The first part will be the south part of the condo. It's an in-place, in-kind replacement of existing decks. There's no additional deck being added on the south side or ocean side of the project. On the north side, they will be extending the decks. There will be siding and new windows, but the footprint will not change on sides and south. The only footprint will change on decking on the north side of the parking lot side, the Dune Road side.
Do we have anything up on the screen, Jeff? Because I know we've got something on the wall here.
I'll try and pull it up, actually.
Did you get elevation?
How many units are here in this, Steve?
41,
41 units altogether?
yes.
No chance of ever raising this with the new FEMA regs, right?
No, no, no.
That would be a challenge.
That's it.
So the parking lot side are the,
That's where the proposed additions to the deck will be first and second floor. On the ocean side, the decks that exist first and second floor will be replaced
in kind.
in kind.
Yeah.
It's general maintenance work.
Do the units go through from
Yes.
front to back?
Yes,
So-
they do.
So you're just adding a deck to an
Correct. And we're going to replace the siding and some of the windows. The ocean has not been kind.
Ocean never is.
And according to the notice, it's 1,290 square feet addition to each unit on the north side?
On the north side, the original application, we said 1,290. It will be significantly less than that. If I met, Brian, we're doing 650 per unit, right? I believe? It's about 650 additional per unit. That number was an original calculation of the repair and replacement along with the front. But in terms of
okay.
square footage,
Just wanted
they combined all
clarification.
of the decking on the notice. It's just going to be about 625 per unit on the north side,
And renovation on the south side.
and on
And
the ocean
repair on the
side, we're
south
not
side.
adding anything.
Okay.
Yeah, that just seemed like an awful lot of square footage.
It would, yes, it would actually bring us out into Dune Road,
That's
which I
why I
think
asked.
that the town might have
Yeah.
other issues with.
So you're replacing existing siding with new siding? or
Yes,
is it-
exact same siding, same color, we're not changing anything, it's just, it's very weathered, and it needs, same thing with the windows need to be upgraded. More economical, more environmentally helpful, they'll help with heat, air conditioning, I mean, it's been a while, so it definitely needs it. And the decking on the ocean side absolutely needs a repair.
Any other questions from the board? Does anyone here wish to speak to this application? Charles, is there anyone on Zoom?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Caputo. We'll close with a pre-submission conference, 30-day written comment period. Motion by Dennis. Second by Craig, all in favor. Opposed, abstention, 6 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, have a good evening.
Thank you.
Okay, Wilderness Trail is number 2. And Gloria? Oh, do we have notice?
You, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Please take notice that in accordance with local law number 417 of 2022, a public hearing will be held by the Southampton Town Planning Board on Thursday, February 23rd, 2023, at 6 p.m. at Town Hall, 116 Hampton Road, Southampton, and via teleconferencing, to consider the pre-application entitled Wilderness Trail. The application proposes a 3-lot subdivision of a 13.872-acre property situated in the CR 200 zoning district, located at Wilderness Trail, North Sea, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-79-1-33.
Thanks.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. Always a pleasure to see you. As noted, tonight we're discussing a 3-lot subdivision located off of Wilderness Trail in North Sea. The lot size is 604,260 square feet, or roughly 13.87 acres. It sits in the CR 200 zoning district. We are proposing 3 lots, each of which is 200,000 square feet or more. The average lot size is actually 420 square feet, 201,420 square feet. If you look at the area map that I provided, you can see the lot there highlighted in green. It's kind of the wrong way, but there you go. So it comes off of Seven Ponds Town Road, then onto Wilderness Trail and through a right-of-way in a subdivision that was subsequently done by this board in 1983. I think it's important to go through the history of what led to this lot's access, and then we can talk about the proposed plan. So, as I mentioned, there's two relevant subdivisions at play here. The first is the subdivision of dated February 29th, 1980. It's map number 8838. And as you can see, this subdivision created a right-of-way and a road reverter over from Seven Ponds Town through the entirety of Wilderness Trail. Subsequent to that subdivision, there was another subdivision just down the road in 1983, the subdivision of William Bennett, which created 4 lots. You can see there. Those 4 lots were granted with a right-of-way, as you can see in the middle of the 4 lots, providing access specifically to the land to the west, that being my client's property. Next you'll see an area map. This is the next one there. So highlights what the subdivisions are. So the blue is the first subdivision I mentioned. The Bennett subdivision is in orange, and then the subject property is in green.
And the orange properties take access from Wilderness Trail, which Is that a private road?
It's a private road right now. There, it's subject to a road reverter, an offer, irrevocable offer of dedication. And I'll get to that momentarily, certainly. So those three subdivisions created the access, and in the next slide, you'll see the highlighted access. The first in the orange is Wilderness Trail with the, which is that right-of-way and irrevocable offer of dedication. And then in the blue is the right-of-way created for the benefit of those four properties and the subject property in green by the subdivision of William Bennett in 1983.
What
The-
instrument holds that? I'm sorry, Carl. Is that irrevocable? I mean, what-
Irrevocable.
both are.
No,
No.
it's a future road. The blue is a future road, it's labeled, but it expressly grants access over it to the property in green. That was a requirement of the planning board because the goal of the planning board was to unlock this parcel.
And that's in a covenant, is it? or-
That's in a covenant.
Covenant.
That's right. So there's a right of access over the blue, and then the orange has an irrevocable offer of dedication. Turning to that irrevocable offer of dedication, I understand this board has received communication from Joseph Gaza. I have as well. I don't know if you've had a chance to review that. I just received it today, actually. And I did reach out to Mr. Gaza to discuss. Mr. Gaza's contention is that he owns that right-of-way, and he provided an easement indicating the same, and as the owner of that right-of-way, can grant access to anyone he likes. However, that right-of-way is also, as I mentioned, subject to an irrevocable offer of dedication. We've met with the Highway Department, who have reviewed this, and are willing to take it into the Highway Department, subject to certain improvements, which my client would be willing to make. So if that were the case, this road in orange would become a public road maintained by the town at the expense of my client, and plowed by the town, paved by the town, et cetera. So it would become a public road, obviously with public access. If that's the case, then the right-of-way would provide the remainder of the access to the highlighted green lot, the subject lot. Now, going back to the proposed subdivision,
Carl, can you do me a favor? What would be the nearest east-west cross street, just so I can,
Seven Ponds Town.
well, Seven Ponds Town, I think that's sort of north-south. It's,
Oh, east-west?
Yes.
Great Hill and.
I guess Great Hill is the next.
Okay, thank
closest.
you.
Edge of Woods is to the
yeah,
south.
I just,
If you want to, maybe,
just to,
maybe Jeff can pull it up.
yeah, no, that's fine.
Our house is, it's right next door. It's 126.
126 is your house? Sure. So if you go, we'll go to the aerial in a second.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just wanted
I
to.
think it's Great Hill, yeah.
Yeah, it's an area that I'm very familiar with.
If you go to the area map with the highlighted subdivision, right there, if you go to that, or the highlighted subdivision, that one. 126 is the four in the orange. Yours would be the lower left,
Oh, right next to the green, right?
right next to the green, yes.
So we're the lower left.
We can't take your testimonies down right now, but you'll have an opportunity to speak
Okay.
after.
So the four lots in the orange, just so I'll go through them since that seems to be. The top left lot is 125 Wilderness. The top right is 123 Wilderness. The bottom left is 126 Wilderness, and the bottom right is 122 Wilderness. Now, the owners of 125 Wilderness have arranged for additional access of 60 feet over their property. So we would be able to put the entire right-of-way over their property. Again, that's outside the limits of the right-of-way under the subdivision, and I'll speak with council about the mechanics of that. But given their willingness to provide that, we could keep the road completely off of 126. And also, we could provide additional frontage, which is important. If you go to the proposed subdivision map, the lots comply in all respects with zoning except for road frontage. There's only a 50-foot right-of-way, and 3 lots would require 60 feet. So we have 2 proposals. One is a proposal with 2 flag strips of reduced size, 15 feet, 20 feet, and then 25 feet would be the immediate access. The other is a one easement, which grants us access to all three. Naturally, unless we can resolve the frontage issue through that additional easement that the property at 125 is granting, we would need a variance to get the third lot. As of right, we can do two without issue. We would need a variance for the third, just for that one issue, which is road frontage. And that's the basic scheme of the subdivision. Obviously, with a landlocked parcel, it's important to outline how you're getting access.
Yeah.
And we've done quite a bit of research and had many discussions with the town about how that access would be obtained. The immediate access is given pursuant to that subdivision of Bennett. But the right to use Wilderness Trail is something that we need to consider, one, with the issues Mr. Gaza raised, and two, those issues become less relevant if the town is willing to take it into the highway system with the necessary improvements. And again, we've already had discussions with the highway superintendent, who has been to the site and expressed a willingness to take it in, subject to those improvements, which my clients would make. Those improvements would include lengthening the road, reinforcing the road, and certain drainage structures.
So
Is
Mr.
that-
Gaza owns the easement.
I haven't had a chance to vet it, so when I look at that tax map,
Yeah.
I don't see that it's a separate parcel. Mr. Gaza has presented a tax map which seems to indicate, and I believe he sent it to the board as well.
He did, he sent it today.
Today, I just got it today as well.
Yeah,
I just saw it today as well.
In what he sent, it seems to show that it's a separate tax map, but I don't see it in any of the things any of the documents I've reviewed.
The access roadway is a separate document?
That's,
It's a
he
separate parcel?
seems to, according to what he sent, it seems to indicate it's a separate parcel over which he retains an easement and the ability to afford access to others.
Yeah, it has a meets and bounds description.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
It has a meets and bounds description. It's an identified piece.
The road.
We haven't verified it, but it appears as what, exactly mimicking what Carl's just described, that area over between Wilderness Trail and the Brighton back piece.
I did call Mr. Gaza today. I didn't get in touch with him. But certainly, we will vet this with him and discuss his concerns.
Right.
But if you note in the document he provided, number 5, or section 5 specifically notes that it's subject to an irrevocable offer of dedication to the town.
Carl, where are the property lines for the homes to the north and the south?
To
Like
the-
what is that,
To the north and the south of,
I'm sorry, can you go to the aerial?
Yeah, the one,
So you see the two homes, the two properties it's cutting through? Right, the easement cuts through two properties.
you're
You know
talking
where
about the right-of-way, the
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 grid.
right of way, yes.
Is
Is that white line their property lines?
Those are their property lines, but it's subject under a subdivision, under the subdivision map. Can you bring up that, it's the Bennett subdivision?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, Jeff, for accommodating. You can see right in the middle of the lots, there is that future road dedication, or that reservation for future road.
To which Mr. Gaza is claiming ownership.
no, it's
No, that's,
No,
The
it's
other
this,
piece.
it's
That-
this
the piece
parcel.
before that.
Can you go back to the
But-
colored ones?
sure.
The blue,
Just, Jeff, can you circle the portion where Mr. Gaza is claiming that?
Just in the blue.
In the
in the
blue.
blue or
Oh.
red?
Yeah.
Blue.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought you were talking in the orange. I'm like, this does not make
It
sense.
took
to me
weeks
at all.
for us
So
to get
that
our head
has-
around it. It's
So
okay.
that access has meets and bounds and
So
is owned by Gaza, he said.
there is no independent tax parcel on GIS. I haven't been able to see it as an independent tax parcel. There's an easement that he seems to indicate has meets and bounds. And the meets and bounds description affords Mr. Gaza a right to, reserves with him a right to use and to provide use to others of that right-of-way. But all subject to, and it says it in the document he provided, the town's irrevocable offer of dedication to the town.
Carl, the orange piece you said was 4 lots, represents 4
Yeah.
lots,
4 lots.
right? How did they get access?
I'm assuming that there's obviously that was, whether or not Mr. Gaza actually provided access is something I need to talk to him about. But if what he's saying is true, it would have had to been through his acts, with his permission, if what
Right,
he's
that's
saying
I'm
is
trying to
accurate.
figure
Yeah.
out how they did it.
And what was the date of the Orange subdivision?
83,
1983?
that's right.
And the Bennett one was before?
That is the Bennett
No,
one.
that-
The one
that-
before was 1980. So the blue was first.
1980, and then okay.
There was a 78 subdivision that didn't create any of the subject lots that we're talking about, but involved some of that property.
Which property, the green,
The blue.
the blue?
Then that blue was more defined with the 80 subdivision, and that's what created that right-of-way and the future road.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's essentially
And the properties in the orange, just let me go there, because that's where there's some concern. They were aware of this potential road going through?
it's on the subdivision map from 83, and it's in the covenants filed
It's
against
in
the
the
property.
covenants on those deeds.
It's on their
Aren't they,
deeds.
Yeah.
aren't they using it for access to their houses?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what, maybe they can, I think one or two of them are here, maybe they can tell us.
Okay.
Well, right now it ends,
So
looks like
that's
it ends in
the
the
80
cul-de-sac.
83 subdivision, yeah, the way it's currently configured, that cul-de-sac is somewhat built out, and then there's two driveways coming off, one to go to parcel 2, which is 125,
Mhm.
and one to go to parcel 3,
Okay.
which is 126.
And it's more or less temporary.
It's a
Temporary.
temporary.
It's a
Temporary
on the map
cul-de-sac.
as a temporary cul-de-sac.
Yeah, well, temporary cul-de-sac, yeah.
Okay.
But it is noted to be built out. They probably, if this, yeah, there will need to be some turnaround, obviously, but.
So the plan would be to bring it up to town road standards and have it taken into the town road system up to
Only
the
up to-
cul-de-sac? Or up to the?
Up to the right-of-way. See where
Up
it
to-
cuts off there at ROW? Right there.
Right there, okay. And the rest remains private.
The rest would remain private.
Okay, if there are not any questions from the board, we can, I think there are some people here who'd like to speak to this application. Please, come on up to the podium. Yeah, you have to come up to the podium. Well, Please just give us your name.
There is a sign-in sheet up there.
Okay, sign in your name, please.
Oh, okay.
Tell us also.
My name is Alan Ephraimson. I'm 123 Wilderness Trail, and I have a great concern about unprivatizing our road. And I was wondering why you wouldn't consider access other than Wilderness Trail.
Okay, we'll try and get an answer for you, okay?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Could you tell me which, right top or left top or right bottom or left bottom, which is you, not the numbers?
let's see, 123 is
I think it's top.
It's
top, yeah,
I can't see that, so,
It's lot one.
sorry.
Yeah, lot 1.
top right,
Lot one.
okay, thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
So
Okay.
you're asking, is there an alternative road in? Okay,
I am highly encouraging an alternative road if it's,
possible.
yeah, it's, or hopefully it's probable. Yeah, there you go. It's just personal, nothing professional.
Okay, we'll try to get some answers.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Someone else wish to speak to?
I'm Glenn Bradford. I live at 126 Wilderness Trail. My wife
You're
is
126, and your
Yeah.
name?
Sharon. Glenn Bradford, Bradford. So Brighton Backs, you're describing that cul-de-sac. I'm the last house on Wilderness Trail where you go straight back. Brighton Back's driveway is to the right of my driveway, like maybe 20 feet. So I'm trying to understand where the property line ends on 126 and how far over these houses are going to go. So I need to see how close to my property line there's gonna be a big house. Right now, I have 2.6 acres, and from what I understand, we're not allowed to build. We can't take away vegetation. You're worried about the water system underneath it. Breitenbach's house is elevated, well above ours, and the property is also elevated where I think he's going to go on part of adjacent to my property going up. So I'm concerned about the water seepage of rolling down the hill and flooding my property.
Which one are you, the lower left?
I'm the lower left.
Okay, and you're
Yeah.
talking about an elevated
I'm number
property to
3,
your
you
right?
said? Yes. So Breitenbach's, where exactly, is it behind Breitenbach's house? Is it, so if you look at, the colored map was much more helpful.
Yes.
I'm totally lost.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
So maybe Carl can explain.
There's our house.
That's right.
Okay.
And the Breitenbach is above that one.
So
Breitenbach's above it.
where
Wow.
is the,
Microphone, sir?
I was just, where does the,
You have to go back there.
where does the road ends at the end of the white is my property there?
Right here.
Right before the green, right?
Yep. Right here, where the cursor is.
So where's the end, where's the cul-de-sac that you're talking about?
Right in the middle.
In the
Where the
middle.
green, and yeah, right there.
No,
no,
not
no.
there, no.
No,
No, it's,
Right in the middle.
In the
it's
middle
right,
of the
it's
Where
orange.
those
it's
four
between.
orange lots come together, the
In
corner.
middle of the orange.
It's in the middle of
Okay.
the orange, yeah.
Okay, so
Is there
it-
anything built out there on the
Cul-de-sac.
cul-de-sac?
It's not really a cul-de-sac.
it's just kind of a widening of the
circle.
road,
Like
it's
a
not really a
turnaround.
But is
cul-de-sac.
that paved or is it gravel?
Paved.
It's paved. right.
Yeah, it just widens a little bit,
Yeah.
and you make a right into my next door neighbor's, and he goes up a big hill, Breitenbach, and mine is just straight, so there's
So-
a very
So
close
there's-
distance.
those two lots, his and the lot immediately to the north of his, take access pretty much of the cul-de-sac. That access way to the green lot, or your client's lot, hasn't really been developed as yet. Is that part of the, am I correct
Yeah.
in saying that?
To my client's lot,
Yeah,
has not been developed.
that's
No.
right. But it is an easement that's been to allow access to that property.
Yes.
And who was the one who granted the easement, that gentleman's name, where is his house?
Go ahead,
Come to the
Carl.
Yeah,
table,
it's in-
come to the table.
Yeah.
So it's William Bennett, I don't know if he owns any property there anymore, he's the subdivider,
Back in 1982.
back in 1983.
No, but you said the right-of-way was by another gentleman?
Gaza.
Oh, Joe
That's the other
Gaza.
Yeah.
property.
Yeah, who is
That's-
Joe Gaza and where is his
That's-
house?
That's the
So
blue.
Joe Gaza lives in Quogue and has property.
Everywhere.
He's a
You're probably
developer.
looking at 7 Joe Gaza lots right now.
Yeah.
But he's
He's the
he
blue.
does own, as it's, the property, if you look at just where Wilderness Trail comes off of Seven Ponds Town.
Yep.
The one just to the north of the, right there, is in a Gaza name. But I don't know, he might rent it or.
These are not
Yeah,
old
it's a
file
rental.
maps.
And
No.
I believe part of Wilderness, the beginning is public, and then it goes private once you cross the LIPA power lines.
As far as I'm aware, none of
It's all
Wilderness
private.
is public.
It's all
Okay,
private.
because the first two lots on, when you turn onto Wilderness, so if you, on the left side, they do not have a Wilderness Trail address, they have a Seven Ponds Town Road address.
Yeah, because if you look, they're coming, their access, they actually have flags, and one is right on Seven Ponds Town, and that's why they have a Seven Ponds Town.
The first two houses, they're on Wilderness Trail as the driveway entrance.
The actual access might be off of it, but if you can see, they were planned to take access off.
They're legal
Okay.
access.
So how does this impact my property with, if you have to build on Breitenbach's a right-of-way, what is happening to that little, it's not really a cul-de-sac, it's just a little widening of the road. What is happening with that?
Well, that would be up to, we'd have to build that out pursuant to road review, which is a process where we would meet with members of the, Tom used to be
Engineering
on road
department,
review,
yeah.
the engineering.
So are you gonna look to take away part of my property to widen that?
Look to take away?
Well, because if you have to widen it, widen it, that property is my property. It's my next door neighbor Samir's, it's Breitenbach's property, and I think it's probably Okay, so that
Okay,
little
can-
widening is, it
Just
will
ask,
impact my
ask your
property.
question, and then Carl can
Yeah,
answer.
Okay.
Because you're addressing us.
Got it.
Supposed
Okay,
to
I'm
be
sorry.
addressing the board.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's
My
okay.
first time here.
I know.
I didn't
Good.
plan on being here.
Good. Well,
So
I'm
I
glad you
want to
came.
know how will this impact
Your property.
my property? And I want to know how it will impact the side of my property where these houses, because part of where you want to build that other lot that's not approved yet is right adjacent to my property. I don't know how it'll impact our privacy. I don't know how it will deal with the water seepage. You know, I would love to build a tennis court, but I was told, because we hired the same land planning company, we didn't have enough, even though I have 2.6 acres, we're not allowed to clear because of the seepage of water going down. So if he's gonna clear out all that, how many acres is it?
13.
13 acres to build houses, how is that going to impact the water duct system that's running, that we have wells? How is it gonna impact all that? And what's it gonna do to the quality of our life to have that?
Okay, so
So-
let Carl answer.
So one, it would be subject to the same clearing restrictions you are. It's in the APOD, so they couldn't clear cut that 13 acres. It would be the same limitations that you guys have on your lots.
Okay.
Actually, more restrictive because they're bigger lots. So a smaller percentage of the lot can be cleared because of that. One, two, the goal is to not have any portion of this road on your property. The goal is to do it all on Breitenbach's property.
Okay, so the goal, but what if you can't meet the goal? Are you looking to go onto my property? And
There-
can you go onto my property?
We can
Carl,
pursuant to the
Easement.
right of easement, but we're trying not to.
So,
okay, so if you have more questions, just address the board,
okay,
please.
so that would impact our residents. We moved here, we live here full-time, I'm not part-time. We moved here for quality of life. We closed on our house in 2021. We knew nothing of any of this. And this is, if he potentially could take away part of my property,
That's not me.
whomever, I would vehemently fight that, because I wouldn't want any of my property touched, because it's my property. So to have
Okay.
someone take away something that we saved our whole lives to be able to buy the property is inconceivable to us. I also want to know this other lot, which is adjacent to my property, which is not approved at this point, how close is a house going to be to my property? Again, because there's a real big incline going up. It is not flat over there.
Okay, so we'll take a look at the site plan.
Okay, and maybe Carl can, I'm friends with him, so maybe he can
You
come to
never
my
guess,
house
right?
one morning and show me exactly what they're looking, so we
That's a
can
good,
understand.
that's a good idea.
Okay, so we're not looking to be confrontational, but we don't want this to really hurt our quality of life, because again, we are full-time residents here. This is our home that we're gonna live in for the rest of our lives.
Okay,
So thank you.
thank you.
Well, just to clarify, his deed, this gentleman's deed has an offer of dedication on it, correct?
This has a-
I haven't seen it, but it must, yeah.
Okay. Because he
And
was.
I very
he
much
was-
appreciate his points, and I think the goal is to accommodate that.
Yeah,
Right.
And certainly, the homes would be subject to setbacks, as we go through this process, if topography becomes an issue, you're gonna have to weigh in on drainage and all of that. All those will be concerned through the building process. And let's be honest, they don't wanna be on top of, these
No.
homes to be on top of another house. So I think the lots are big enough where, the homes would be spaced pretty far from his current house.
Yeah.
yeah, there are only 3 lots.
Yeah, and they're 5-acre lots, so.
What would be the percentage clearing under EPOD for a lot that size?
For 200, it's
50.
gotta be
50.
15%,
Yeah.
something that low, yeah. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think that's the high, 200, it's 200 or above, it's the highest
That
category.
percentage gets
Yeah.
really
Do you remember,
small
Jeff?
at 5 acres.
15%.
1-5, they can only
So that
clear
means
15.
85% of the lot would have to
It
remain
would.
vegetated.
Yeah. Okay, I think that answers that. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak? You
Yes.
have to go up to the podium and state your name, and so that you'll be on the record.
Are you friends with Carl too?
No, actually, my husband is. But now I am.
Your name?
Sharon Bradford,
Sharon?
126 Wilderness Trail, I live there. You know, the other consideration is also how long will a project like this take? I mean, can you imagine the noise, the dirt, to live with this? I mean, like Glenn said, this is our full-time residence. I'm so upset. I don't know what to do with myself. You know, this is, I put everything into, I renovated this house, I love it. I mean, it's such a magical place. It says Wilderness Trail, that's what it is. It's actually Wilderness Trail. You get there, it's like people come to visit, they're like, where is this?
It's not in the Hamptons, right?
Right. I mean, they're like, wow, it is just stunning. And the raw nature of it, I mean, I don't know what's going on with the building around. I mean, on Seven Ponds Town Road, it's going to look like Nassau County soon. And we moved from Nassau County. You know, it's the overdevelopment of everything. It's very upsetting. And, you know, the beauty of Suffolk County and out here is that you see the deer and, you know, the bunnies and whatever, you know. I love it. I look out my window and they're standing right there. And there's trees everywhere. And we did. We wanted to put a tennis court in. We wanted to do a little pool house. We were told no. We said, you know what? I get that. I'm not going to do it. I understand. You know, we'll go somewhere else to play tennis.
Thank you, that's good.
So.
Because you're over the aquifer.
Yeah, exactly. And I understand that. I respect it, and I respect the property, and I respect the wilderness of it.
Okay.
So I hope that, and I do understand also if you own property and you want to build on it. So I understand everything. But, you know, it's very upsetting.
Well, if it gives
Yeah.
you any comfort, the APOD, that is really restrictive zoning there. There's gonna be an awful lot of green buffering.
How long would something like that take, though? It's got to be,
Oh,
you
it's
know,
hard
to
to
build,
say.
Yeah, it's hard
and
to
right, and then the
It's hard to
dirt
say.
and the
Right.
noise and the
They might not build on it for
intrusion.
10 years. They might sit on the land.
I hope to still be here.
So just to, you know,
Yeah.
give you like a little bit of.
Yeah, I've never done anything like this
A little bit
before.
of comfort with
Stood
that.
at a
So
podium.
fairly recently, they put up 11 homes in
Mhm.
our neighborhood. It was, you know, similar. It was all woods. I used to go,
Yeah.
you know, running around there and
Yeah.
stuff. So when you see trees drop and construction start, it's a bit upsetting, but it's not as unsettling as you might think, especially where you're with the APOD. You can have a lot
You
of
know,
green
also
buffer.
just the you know,
So-
it's such a small kind of narrow lane
Right.
when you go in. I know they'll probably have to expand it, but, you know, it's like we're at the end and there's just two driveways.
Yeah.
But
So-
this board especially, we're very mindful of, you
I
know,
hope so,
placing
yeah.
things properly,
Okay.
you know, limiting, you know,
Trees
the
down.
impact on other, you know, surrounding homes and stuff. We will do
Yeah.
our due diligence to make sure it's right.
Yeah, okay, all right, well, I
Thank,
guess.
thank you for coming,
Yeah, no,
for
thank
speaking.
you.
Anybody else who'd like to speak, please?
Hello. My name, I'm here. My name is Emma Snyder. I live at 121 Wilderness Trail, which would be it wouldn't be impacted by the road that is proposed to be built, but it's the top on the right-hand side,
Mhm.
just below that large parcel below the road. On the
Right
green,
next to the green.
right next to the green, above
That-
Brighton Backs,
that-
yeah,
that.
that one. So the area back there is extremely hilly. Right behind our house is like a massive incline, and it varies quite a bit back there. So I'm also very concerned about runoff, all that. We don't use pesticides, anything like that. Our grass is not very green because we try to keep the ground as healthy as possible. I am also concerned about the road. Right now, it's a one-car road. People cannot pass on that road as it is right now. And yeah, there's a massive amount of deer back there. There were 4 properties just built to the left of the green a few years ago. And just the amount of space where there's no houses is just decreasing in such a large amount. There are parcels on the road that can be built, and I find it kind of annoying that people are going in to find landlocked pieces of land to get cheaper land when there's parcels right on the road they could build on. And I know that's their right to do that, but it is frustrating.
Do you are you getting access off of the Wilderness Trail Orange, and then you have
Yes.
an
A cul-de-sac
L-shaped
thing.
flag lot?
Yes,
Okay.
correct. And already the runoff is a huge issue. The road as it is gets a bunch of runoff water on it. And I'm extremely concerned about if 3 properties were to be built back there, what that would do to where all this water will go, where all the deer will go. I mean, we have like 100 deer back there, at least. Yeah.
Well, when a new house is built, it has to be built to absorb 3-inch rainfall from the house.
Mhm.
So they will have to put leaders and gutters and
Mhm.
French drains or dry wells
Mhm.
to keep the water from escaping their property.
Mhm.
That's building code.
Mhm.
And the Orange Road, if it was brought up to town standards, that would eliminate the flooding issue.
If it was brought up to town standards, would it be a mandatory double wide road, or would it stay?
It would be
It'd be-
wider, it would have to allow for
Two-way
passage of 2
traffic.
cars.
Okay. Got it.
They're not gonna bring that road up to town full, like 30-foot.
Right.
And-
But
or
people would be allowed
Country
to
lane.
pass.
Or put a yellow stripe down
Right.
it.
Country lane
And
style.
when you think about it, you wanna be able to get a fire engine back there, or an
Of
ambulance in a winter storm,
Mhm.
to your house too, so
Mhm.
it's gonna help, circulation.
What's the topography on that green parcel?
It's
It's hilly.
Hilly.
it's hilly,
Yeah, that whole
All
area
the
is
way
hilly.
through.
all the way
Yeah,
through.
that's
The
all.
Brighton backs are at a high point with a lower point on all sides, basically. And it goes swooping down to their property, to our property. Our well is at a very low spot back there. And then ours comes up a bit. It's a bit of a mess back there.
So siting properties here is going to be
It's gonna be very important. And
important.
there are points that are less topographic,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Well, you
can
can-
see
you can-
them there. And they're actually set back pretty far from
Yeah.
where the house, the current house.
Yeah, you can see it's three plateaus, and
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
in each
yeah.
of the lot, there's a plateau in the middle of the lot
Right,
that
right.
would be fairly level compared to the side slopes.
I've got a theoretical question for Carl.
Sure.
Have you been to the health department yet?
We've engaged a Rayner Group engineer. They have discussed with the health department. Water is what you're talking about?
Yeah.
So they've been told 150 feet per lot, and the nearest main is 3,000 feet away. So
So they're gonna put
They're
wells in?
bringing the water,
the plan is wells, yeah.
Yeah,
will the health department approve wells?
The preliminary discussion seems to be in the affirmative, but we are prepared for all contingencies.
They're extending the water main down Great Hill Road to tie into Deerfield Road.
Down Great Hill to tie into Deerfield.
On edge,
There's a
on,
3-lot map at the top of Great Hill Road, who had to bring the water main up Great Hill Road in excess of $250,000 for 3 lots.
Yeah.
And now they're extending the main down to the end of Great Hill Road, across Edge of Woods to tie into Deerfield.
Where's
So they
Deerfield?
may very well require you to,
to
it's
bring
my
the water
understanding that the health department,
Where's Deerfield?
Deerfield is
way over to the
way
east.
over, off.
Way over east, there it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Deerfield.
Well,
have
we will
both.
work with the health department on that. My client is aware, and if that's the case, then the neighborhood gets
Have you looked
water.
into fire protection in that area?
No, we have not
No,
yet. no.
Yeah.
okay.
So those prior subdivisions, the two,
They're old.
they have well water and just what, fire wells for
Think they have
suppression?
cisterns or-
Cisterns?
That's right.
Yeah.
Cisterns, yeah.
Yeah, which in the 80s, I mean,
That was it.
they're now the fire department wants hydrants and,
No on hydrants.
I've had this conversation. so
Yeah,
It could
so-
be.
yeah.
I don't want to raise a can of worms, but
I appreciate the,
It's-
It's a heads up.
if there's a can of worms on the road, we want to know.
Well, those are gonna be really, really, really expensive houses.
Property values go up.
They probably will be.
Anyone else wish to speak?
Well, I have one
Oh.
more question. Sorry. You mentioned something about being 2 lots were for sure able, but there was a 3rd lot that may or may not be able to have access. Which was the lot? Was it the one all the way on the top? that there was a bit of a difficulty with, or?
It's not, it has nothing to do with any individual lot. It's just that the frontage, the town code requires that you have a certain amount of road frontage per lot.
Okay.
For instance, yours has 20 feet,
Mhm.
which is the minimum required. We have the right-of-way permitted, granted under the Bennett subdivision is 50 feet. So for 3 lots, you'd naturally need 60.
Okay.
So it's not that any one lot is a problem, it's doing 3 with a 50-foot right-of-way.
Mhm.
There are 2 possible means of getting past that. One would be taking additional property from 125, so that we would have the minimum number of frontage, and I would have to work with council on that. And the other would be a variance from the
And-
zoning board.
Do you know where you would put the road connecting the 3 houses? Where would the drive, would it be like just a driveway connecting the 3, or?
Is that what that shaded area is?
So that shaded area, there's 2
That
proposals.
would be the driveway.
There's a
Yes.
driveway there, or an easement from which each of them can get access, and then the other proposal is similar to your lot, well, that's the 2-lot plan. There's a 3-lot, do you have that?
It's right there.
That's the
No, no,
3-lot.
there's another 3-lot plan with flags. It's in one of the documents I emailed to you today. Well, you don't want to put your email up. There, that one. So that one proposes, instead of just one easement, 3 flags,
Mhm.
or 2 flag strips and 1 direct access.
But in both instances, the physical driveway
It's going
is
to be
going to
along
run
that
along
property
the
line.
side of the lot.
In between the lots, okay, all right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anyone on Zoom?
No,
No one on Zoom.
there are some people, but no one.
But no one asking a question. Okay, Carl, then you want anything to wrap up? That's it?
So I want to thank the neighbors for coming out. Certainly their input is important. This is the beginning of the process. From here, there's a pre-application report. We have to go through approvals from the health department, and there will be another public hearing. So if there's anything you think of after today that you want to bring up, you'll have another opportunity before we get down the road on this.
Good, thank you, Carl.
I think, did you have one?
No, you have to come up, I'm sorry, you have to come up to the podium.
So, we need to all protect ourselves because we don't know what's going to be. And I would have actually turned to Carl for that, but now we can't because he's representing the other side. But if we're gonna have to get together as neighbors and hire attorneys, it's gonna cost us money that we didn't budget for out of pocket. Is there a town-provided attorney that could represent the neighbors that are going to be impacted?
Everyone's looking at me.
No.
Well, I'm the town, not the town attorney, I'm deputy town attorney, so I'm the town's attorney for the planning board, so
Okay.
I, as best I can, ensure everything that they do is within the bounds of the law. I'm happy to try and help you all kind of work through this with Carl and
Okay.
the board. We all have a great working relationship. Having said that, I can't represent you in
Okay.
terms of, you know, if your interests are not aligned, or if you don't like what's happening,
Mhm.
but it's legal and it's something like, I can't be conflicted like that, but I'm happy to work with you, or if you want to hire somebody, you certainly are free to do that. That's up to you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Carl. So I'll entertain a motion to close with a 10-day written comment period. It's not pre-submission, it's pre-app.
Do you want to give a longer window for comment?
You want to give it a little longer, just, or actually, it doesn't matter, because we're going to be back for another,
Yeah.
that's fine.
30 days?
Okay, 30-day written comment period. Motion by Dennis, second by Carl, Craig. rather. Carl, can't do that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, 6 in favor, 1 absent.
So if you,
Good to see you all.
you have,
Thank you, Carl.
you all have 30 days if you want to write something additionally, and we will all read it.
Yeah, or anybody else wants to in your immediate neighborhood, okay?
And then there'll be another hearing at the zoning board. You'll be noticed on that one too. So it's a process.
So, 14 Flying Point, if anybody is waiting for Van Tassel, Dean Van Tassel, that is off the agenda, okay? 14 Flying Point Road is a pre-app, and George, do you want to read it?
We have notice?
Notice.
Wait, I'm sorry,
Yes,
we have-
Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Please take notice that in accordance with local law number 417 of 2022, a public hearing will be held by the Southampton Town Planning Board on Thursday, February 23, 2023 at 6 p.m. at Town Hall, 116 Hampton Road, Southampton, and via video conferencing to consider the pre-application entitled 14 Flying Point Road. The application proposes a two-lot subdivision of a 2.08 acre property situated in the CR 60 zoning district located at 14 Flying Point Road, Watermill, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-132-3-22.1.
Yes, please.
Hi, Brian Grogan with PW Grosser Consulting, engineer for the application. I'm here to answer any other questions you have. We have a two-lot subdivision. It has a permit from the health department for sanitary system upgrades. There is a pending health department subdivision application as well. And it does have an approval from the zoning board of appeals for the lot sizes and setbacks.
Isn't this the property where the farmhouse was landmarked?
Yes.
And it was already moved? And it's
Correct.
being,
Correct.
Re-
It was relocated. Both that house and the other proposed house are currently under construction with active building permits. And like I said, we already have a health department approval for the sanitary systems.
Yeah.
Do you want-
Jeff, can you bring this map up, please?
It's 14 Flying Point.
That's it, 14 Flying Point.
Let me go back.
You had it.
I think it was at the top of your list.
I think you have to go back.
So they relocated the house.
They relocated the landmark house to the northern lot.
Has there been any construction going on here?
oh, yeah,
This
Yes,
house is built.
yes.
yeah.
It's under construction right now. There's active building permits. Like I said, there's a health department sanitary systems were installed yesterday and inspected yesterday.
That's the renovated house, the renovated.
Both.
No,
They're-
both.
they're both.
The
There's-
new
there's-
house and the-
Health department requires now on a lot of these kinds of subdivisions that we upgrade sanitary
we do.
systems
No.
prior to them issuing subdivision approval.
No, but our question is that you're already well underway in construction without site plan approval
Or subdivision.
or
Subdivision.
subdivision approval.
Correct.
Any reason why is that?
It was granted, I mean, they had building permits to do it. They had a zoning board of appeals application. We did file this subdivision application a while ago, I believe.
But this board has not approved
No.
it.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, there was a picture
Mhm.
in the front pages of Southampton Press maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago.
So the second dwelling unit you have a
No, we have not approved
building
anything.
permit for a second dwelling unit?
Correct.
How did you get two permits, a second dwelling unit on the one lot?
There was a zoning board of appeals
Oh,
approval.
for two houses
For
on the
that,
one-
for two houses on one lot.
On one lot, okay, got it.
Correct.
And now you're seeking to cut off
To
the lot?
subdivide, correct. So
Got
there
it.
was an approval for two houses on one lot that was, again, in concert with what the health department approved for sanitary purposes. And now we're coming in to file a subdivision to
I
split
see.
the lots.
Okay, that explains it.
Okay, are there any questions?
I mean, I think there was support for what they did there with moving the house, right?
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
that was
Yeah.
a trade-off.
Right. There's no one here. Is there anyone on Zoom? Charles?
I see no hands.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to close with a 10-day written comment period. Motion. Motion by Gloria, second by Craig. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, 6 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I was just given an email from Mr. Hume, who just emailed the mailing, so I need a second to go through it for Van Diesel.
So it might be on
You don't have them
Fantastic.
physically though, right?
Fantastic might be on.
Do you want to do that?
I would prefer not to, but.
Yeah, then I don't think we should. It's late in the game. It's 7 o'clock on the night of a public hearing.
Hold on, I see.
That's just the list. It's the
Yeah, I didn't know if you needed it.
Right. No, I think that puts a burden on us, and it certainly puts a burden on you to not be able to see the document. So, I'll entertain a motion to close.
Motion?
Motion by Gloria, second by Craig. All in favor, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Adjournment?
We're done.
That was an interesting application.
You know, Jeff,
Very diplomatic thing.
not only for
Is there
you,
an attorney?
but for whoever, whatever planner is up on it, they should have the applications